Good morning, my name is Lucas Vanmeter, and today I'll be presenting and talking about Property Rights Regime, written by Eleanor Ostrom and Adela Schlager. I think it's important to note that Eleanor Ostrom was actually the first female to win a Nobel Prize in the economic science field. And she's also arguably one of the most prominent Hoosier economists. So Eleanor Ostrom begins the paper by discussing common property resources and how this term has often led to confusion in the political science fields and scientific study. So I think this paper aims at defining these four different property rights regimes called authorized user, claimant, proprietor, and owner. So each one of these four have different rights. So authorized user only have the right of access and withdrawal. Claimant has the right to access and withdrawal plus the right of management. And the right of management is being able to make internal changes to how you use the property. And then proprietor has both of the mentioned rights included, and then also has the right of exclusion. Exclusion means they decide who can use the property and who can't use the property. And then owner, the final one, has all three of those rights plus the additional right of alienation. And alienation allows the owner to either sell or lease the property. She then goes on to talk about in her paper how property rights arise. So there's the two de facto and de jure property rights. De jure property rights are issued and regulated by the government. De facto property rights come about from the common pool resource owners. So in her example, she often uses fishers as an example throughout this paper. She says, fishers in turn may cooperate and exercise rights of management and exclusion, defined amongst themselves as harvesting must take place and who may engage in harvesting from their fishing. So that would be an example of de facto regulation, where they've decided among themselves how to govern themselves. So these are usually recognized by the community and any other local sources as a legitimate property rights regimes. And now Jamie will talk about the second part of the paper,